You know, I know some of you was wondering why I didn't do a commentary about John Singleton yesterday. Is because it hit me hard. While I never met brother, I met brothers through his movies, his videos, or TV projects, or commercials, whatever he did. That you saw his name and entertained us. That's how I met him. That's how you met him. But when they kept talking about how young he was, it hit me because 51 years old. He just hit. You had to have a birthday. We just in what the fourth month, going into the fifth month of the year. So it means he just had a birthday. He was born in 1968. I mean, last year he turned 50. This year he just turned 51. Young, just like when Luke Perry had a stroke a few months back, it hit you because you realize how old you are. But then you realize a lot of young men, especially black men, are dropping dead at the age of 41, 45, 51. And then it's not lost upon me that 10 years ago, Michael Jackson died at the age of 50 for various health reasons and questionable decisions. But still, that's young. Consider how life expectancy is today. See, if this was 1940s America, 30s America, they would consider you an old man at the age of 30. And if you lived into your 50s, they'd be looking at you as a senior citizen. Go watch some of those old TV shows back in the day when they talk about when you dig at the fathers and then you do their birthday and like, wait a minute, if they was born this time, why in the F did they look like that or was dressed and acting that way? Because life expectancy. Now, as a black man, because of the stresses that we deal with, we're lucky if we get into our 80s nowadays, especially nowadays. And I don't understand, know how our grandparents and great-grandparents, but then again, they were stronger. They was used to more adversities than we are. Not saying we don't have our issues, but it's sort of like they condition their mind, their body to it. Not saying that we should condition our mind and body to harm and disrespect. But it's just that we gotta do better. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's making me look to reevaluate my eating habits and stuff. But at the same time, it just explains a lot what they said he died of. Yes, he had a massive stroke, but he said it was brought by hypertension. And if you go back and look at some of the images and some of the interviews, John Singleton did, there were times where he didn't look well. And if you look, the telltale sign was his left eye, his left side of his face. There were times where it like his eyes were just red, or it like he was struggling to speak. And they say he suffered hypertension, and a lot of times that's hereditary. And like I said, I ain't gonna lie to you, it scares you because right now, once you get past when you hit 35, your body changes. The stuff that you did when you was 15 and 25, you can't do it 35 anymore. That's why when you see these basketball players, football players, one year they jumping around and next year barely. Your body every day you live, your body is aging. Have you ever thought about how many times your heart have beat since your mother and father laid down and you was start developing in the womb? Think about it. When you start to develop a heartbeat, that's when your heart start beating. And non-stop. When you sleep, it beats. Just think about that. Everything you do, every time you take a breath, and it makes you start thinking about things health-wise. When you have hypertension or whatnot, your vision, your extremities, all kinds of things. But John Singleton, man, it slapped you harder because this brother did so many firsts. And he influenced a generation of black filmmakers. I mean, we talk about Spike Lee, but he was Gen X. He was ours. Spike Lee, baby boomer. I respect Spike. Don't always agree with Brother Spike, but respect. He was our parents. He was baby boomer. Singleton, Gen X. Singleton influenced a lot of other young directors or got Hollywood to say, let's go find some black directors. I love his Rosewood. I still watch Rosewood. Higher Learning, Shaft. I mean, all that. And you know, he directed TV. He did the same thing Spike Lee, because you know, black directors don't get the same perks and calls. He revitalized the Fast and Furious franchise. A lot of people forget it. Vin Diesel didn't want anything to do with it anymore. Him and what's the one that fried up like a crispy critter? And I know people say that's mean why I say that, but he was messing with underage girls, and the media seemed to give him a pass because of the way he died. Paul Walker, that's what it is. John Cena took it on and he revitalized it. And he doesn't get any props for that. I recorded some audio, and hopefully I can get some of it to play. But if not, I apologize. Let me play audio real quick. To talk with her, I tell you what. Well, let's. We do have some sad news. Okay, yeah, the news about John Singleton. Yeah. John Singleton, we had him on the show. Obviously, iconic director. He's directed some of the biggest films in Hollywood. His family. Boys in the Hood. Yep. He was the youngest African American to get nominated for Boys in the Hood back in the 90s, which, you know, was a real definitive movie of that time, highlighting where he was from in South Central, what it's like to grow up in the hood. Right. Well, actually, he's the youngest, not just black director, youngest director. And that's part of the audio that got cut off. Let me see. I think I got some more. Let me see. Finally tonight, remembering a director, a trailblazer, who began a conversation at just 23. John Singleton was a trailblazer. The writer and director was just 23 when he prompted a national conversation about race with his debut film, Boys in the Hood. Cuba Gooding Jr. Yo, the brothers, you're supposed to be fighting each other? Regina King. You know, I'm sorry about that, but you guys get a little understand. I'm trying to get y'all a little snippet of what he did. Sad news now out of Hollywood. After suffering a major stroke just 12 days ago, director John Singleton, the man behind classic films that spoke to a generation like Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, and Too Fast, Too Furious, has passed away. John was removed from life support today. It was an agonizing decision, his rep told ET. He is best remembered for his first movie, the groundbreaking drama Boys in the Hood, which he both wrote and directed. Let me see what else I got. For you, Larry. Indeed. Now to some really sad news. God, this has affected us all. Director John Singleton, who's been in a coma since suffering a stroke on April 17th. He was taken off life support today and passed away shortly thereafter. Nick Cannon, Shonda Rhimes, Jordan Peele, just some of the names expressing their condolences on social media. Yeah, Singleton gained worldwide attention directing 1991's Boys in the Hood, which changed how black people's stories were told in film. And at the age of 24, he Now, I'm going to correct that, and I want people to understand that's not necessarily the truth, but I'll give it a second. Hollywood director John Singleton has died. Singleton was the first African-American filmmaker to be nominated for an Oscar for directing the powerful 1991 film Boys in the Hood. He died today after being removed from life support. Singleton suffered a stroke nearly 2 weeks ago. Most recently, Singleton has been active in television as both a producer and director, which included co-creating the FX series Snowfall and episodes of shows such as American. And I guess I can end it right there. But Spike was the one that influenced John Singleton. If you go back and remember, John Singleton did the baseball cap. I mean, he wore glasses like Spike. A lot of people think that he copied Spike Glad, but I think the baseball hat. Yeah, a lot of black directors back then did copy that Spike Lee baseball hat thing, but he did wear glasses in real life. But it was Spike that it sparked the modern day Renaissance and how black stories are told. But John Singleton did the first movie about the gang banging epidemic that was going on in the country at that point in the history. Because if y'all remember, they were scared to even play Boys in the Hood. Oh, the gang's gonna come out. They're gonna fight. Oh, it's gonna be. They had police stationed at the movie theaters around the country. Those of us who remember that they did the same thing with New Jack City. They even tried to do it with Malcolm X. Remember that they was doing that back in the '90s, and then they was messing around with the box office for a while. They did that to Menace Society and Boys in the Hood. I'm gonna tell you, Boys in the Hood and Menace Society, and maybe one other film I might be forgetting, was the only ones that I could have stomached at that time showing that life. But that wasn't black life as a whole, and that's why John he tried to pull away from that and go in the other directions. Because if I remember reading somewhere or did an interview, he even said that's not only black life. He says a sliver of black life, but he want to show it. He want to show it his honesty. That's why when Baby Boy came around, the subject matter about Baby Boy. If you go back and watch Baby Boy, there's a lot of messages in that movie, and whatnot. But a lot of people don't know that John Singleton was a comic book fan. Yeah, he was a comic book fan. Matter of fact, Jim Lee. If anybody's a comic book fan who know who Jim Lee is, who were right along with Chris Claremont back in the '90s, sold more copies of the X-Men than Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man. That's like Image. It was a long story, but anyways, he was a comic book fan. And when they announced that he died, Jim Lee put up a picture of John Singleton with Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, Mark Silvestri, and the rest of the Image founders when Image first started. And a lot of people don't realize that John Singleton was tapped. They was going before they decided to take Luke Cage to Netflix. They was thinking about bringing Luke Cage to the big screen, and Tyrese was set to star or rumored to star at one point, or The Rock. I think Morris Chestnut too at one point, and whatnot. Y'all gotta excuse me. One of those cough fits and drink some water real quick. Yeah, he was a comic book fan, and he admitted it. And just that Marvel had changed their direction, their plans, what they was going to do. But he wanted to direct. But I guess after a while, he moved on. And I was always wondering why they didn't get him to give his spin on one of these Marvel movies. But now we never will happen. But I got an image of him right along with Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, and this is Todd's daughter, Cyan. Here's a picture of Todd holding her when she was a baby. John right here, and I don't know, I can't make out the guy in the middle, but that's John Singleton right there. And they reunited at the 20th issue of Spawn. Yeah, John Singleton was a comic kid, just like Samuel Jackson, just like myself and many others. But this is Todd McFarlane right here, reunited with John Singleton almost 30-some years later. And this is an image of this, because right here, you see the baby Todd holding, that's his daughter right here, all grown up, Cyan, and John, and then go Todd. Yeah. So and then, and the comic book world is in mourning, or comic book writers in them are sad. It tells you this brother had influence. It's just that Hollywood, in my honest and God opinion, never has truly given him these other black directors. They do. Now, Ryan Coogler coming along, doing what he did with Black Panther and Creed and whatnot. I mean, Rocky. What's that? The Rocky? What's that last Rocky film? Or was it? Yeah, I forget. Was it Rocky or was it Creed? Or Creed 2. Well, anyways, I forget the title. Y'all can help me. Y'all gotta go back. But the thing is, when Ryan Coogler made that money, it sort of said, okay, Spike Lee, John Singleton, the Hugh brothers, Gary F. Gray, whomever, they kicked open a bunch of doors. So these brothers and sisters can come along and share their vision. But I think John Singleton, when they talk about Boys in the Hood, he directed more movies than that. So I hope that TV One or BET, if they do have the rights to some of his movies and play it, I hope they play Rosewood again, Higher Learning. I mean, as a matter of fact, they showed this evening on Access Hollywood he had did an interview, I think for the Hollywood Reporter, right before he had a stroke. And he was talking about how the studio go tell him this is how they see black pictures. And he's like, I'm a black man. And I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute. This dude's been directing since he was 23. Academy Award nominated director. And they still telling him how they see black America. And it might be on YouTube. It might be on the Hollywood Reporters interview. I believe they do those interviews. You might came across or whatever, but you should watch it. But I'm just in shock. Young. But then again, you never know when it's your time. When it's your time, it's your time. But I gotta say this, John, rest in peace, my brother. Thank you for the years of entertainment you gave us. Thank you for showing a different perspective that may have been shown but may have been exploitive. Rest in peace, brother.